Hey, I'm Brittany Mirabilé. I'm an actress and I'm from Wakefield.
Was at that protest? Oh, that's a Sean Bell protest. I was at that protest. Wow. It's speaking to me now. This is so good.
What don't I love about the Bronx? Okay, what do I love about the Bronx? I think one of the things that I love about the Bronx is it kind of feels like this almost kept secret in a way. Unless like you live here, unless you're from the Bronx and you know all the places and you know all the spots, and everyone else is like, the Bronx, what? And you're like, you don't know what you're missing. That's what I like about the Bronx. We got our own little thing. Like, there's so many restaurants and so many like resources and things that people don't know about. It's our own little corner. You know what I mean?
What do you dislike about the Bronx, or what is something that you'd like to see improved in your book?
We were just talking about this. Traveling within the Bronx is really ridiculous. Like, if I want to get over here and hang out here, I kind of have to trek it a little bit, or I have to take an Uber, I have to do this. Like, it's not connected. So I think it makes it harder for us to enjoy our borough and enjoy like the different things that are popping up and like to enjoy that, because it's hard to get to. Like, there's like a bus that doesn't go there, or this doesn't go there, or this is like it drops you off 20 minutes and you got to walk across this. Like, I'm gonna do that in Manhattan. Why you gotta do it in the Bronx? So yeah, I guess that's like my one little, I don't get to enjoy my little corner of New York because it's hard to get around without a car. My favorite subway line in the Bronx, it's gotta be the 4. The 4 gets you to the city, gets you through like so fast. Like, I think it's the 4. It's either the 4 or the D. Because like there's like 3 stops in your Manhattan. Like, you're on 161st and you get to Manhattan. I love that. My least favorite? I have to say it's the 5 train. It's the 5 train. No, it is. It's the 5 train. This is why. I'm gonna tell you why. So, and you know, you'll get into the train. You'll see there's 3 minutes left. It's 3 minutes. You get to the top of the stairs. It still says 3 minutes. Why the door closing? Why are they leaving when there's 3 minutes on the screen? You're like, wait, what? And it happens all the time. All the time. I'm telling on them now. Those conductors leave when there's 3 minutes on the clock. And also, there's always a delay. There's always something ridiculous. There's just one redeeming quality. It goes express from 180th to 149th Street. That little express bit during rush hour, that redeems it. But other than that, the 5. What age did I begin acting? I mean, like, playing around at home and stuff? Gosh, to be honest, like, to be completely honest, I was like 5. I was like 5, jumping around on like my grandmother's couches, pretending her rug was lava, and me and my Barbie had to go and jump across the jungle to do this and do that. And it was imaginative play, but it was real. Like, you couldn't disturb me. So I think that's really when I just started to discover my imagination can really spill into like an art form that's performance and jumping around and very active and storytelling. And yeah, I say 5. Wow, 5. Yes. I remember my first audition. I remember, or one of my first auditions. Well, this is the first one that popped up to my head. I remember my audition for Purchase. I auditioned for SUNY Purchase, and I was terrified, like shaking, trying to remember my monologue, going over and over again in my head, trying to do, because I remember it was like a Shakespearean monologue, I think from Titus Andronicus. I don't remember the monologue now, probably because I did it so poorly. That part of my mind is just cut it out of my memory. I remember overacting, and I remember like trying with every fiber of my being to be a good actress. Like, I'm gonna be great, I'm gonna get into school. And when I left, I was just so glad that it was over. And I realized, like, maybe this wasn't a good audition, because I was just happy for it to be done. I was happy to get out of the room. But I've definitely grown from that, and I've definitely grown from that story. I think that day I was like, I don't like auditioning, I need to fix this. Here's the thing with auditioning, right? Every actor has a love and hate for auditioning. Because with auditioning, you're nervous. You know what I mean? You're like, because you want it. You want it. You want to go in and you want to be fantastic. And with every audition, there's a challenge. It's like, if it's comedy, you need to keep up with the rhythms. You need to hit this. You need to hit the jokes. But then, like, it still needs to be fluid. So there's all this technicality with it. With like an on-camera audition, sometimes you have to, like, there's technicalities where it's just like, okay, an explosion happens there and your lover's coming. You know what I mean? Like, there's all this stuff going on, all these like things that you have to deal with. So auditioning, like, I always get nervous. I still get nervous, but I'm learning to love it and really see it as an opportunity to act and an opportunity to collaborate, as opposed to, all right, you better book this. Because if you're thinking that, you're already behind.
What is it like moments before an audition? Like, as someone who has acted before an audition, I always remember sitting there and watching the people, like, you know, look at their lines, you know, or like if it's just, you know, cold read or there's no lines at all, they're like, oh, you see the people, and you're like, it's my competition. And you're like by the door, you're listening. You have those people going, listen.
Yeah.
How are you like before an audition? What is your mindset?
My mindset, I'm in the character's mindset. I'm thinking the character's thoughts. I'm thinking about, you know, where, like in the scene, I'm grounded in the scene. I'm thinking, where are we? What just happened? How do I feel about that? And I try to be very grounded in the thing that I'm reacting to that makes me say the first line. Like, that's where you gotta be, because it's like, you know, your first line, you're coming out of something, you're responding to something, you have to like bring that life and that truth of the moment in the room with you, because you're in a room like this. There's a camera right here, the lights are right there, the mic is over here, someone's reading at you and someone's looking at you, and you gotta, you know, this has to, you know, suddenly become Central Park or something like that. So it's like, you have to be so grounded. So that's me. Moments before an audition, I'm like zoned in. But I'm not zoned in where it's just like, don't talk to me. I can talk to people. I see friends, like I'll see like my actor friends, like, you better book it, girl. Like, I'll have my moments, but I'm very like into the scene, into the like ready to play. Something that you can't learn in school, something that you can't learn from acting school, or something that you can't learn from like a coach. You know what? On set etiquette. Because like once you're on set, you kind of have to trust your instrument to assess what's going on. Like, you don't want to like get into the makeup trailer and be like, hey, what's that? Because like it may not be that energy there. Or it may be that energy there. You want to like kind of be aware, because you're in a collaborative space. You're working with other people. You're together. You're there to do a job. You're there to like create this story. So you're dealing with a lot of different personalities. I've been fortunate enough to like love the sets that I've been on. I haven't felt like, you know, attacked or felt like, oh my God, this person scares me. I haven't felt that. But you need to be able to deliver and be professional, even if the DP, you don't like, you know, you don't like the jokes he makes when it's break time and he's like, you know, a jerk, or like, you know, maybe the director scares you, or maybe like, you know, this, you know what I mean? Like, you can't let those things get into your way. So that's something that no class can teach. You just gotta have your professionality and just know how to just go with the flow, because this is what it is. I'm going with the flow. For me, I think like my definition of success would really, there's a balance that I'm trying to attain. Like Like as an artist, you have this unrelenting hunger to create. Like all of my friends that are artists, if we haven't done something or like created something or like went on an audition or worked on a play or read a piece of poetry or something in like a long span, like maybe a few months or even a few weeks, you feel like this depression. You really do. Like as an artist, you're just like, and like sometimes you're not even sure what it is. You're like, I feel like, oh God, I feel like dog poop. Like what's wrong with me? Like what's going on? And I think for me, success would be not only being able to like still have like to do my own projects and like be creative and just like have that as a living, but then also be able to get it like with my home life and my personal life, because like I'm very family oriented. Like I'm very close with my family, and I make a lot of sacrifices because of my dream with my family. There's things, there's vacations I haven't gone on with them, there's birthdays I've missed, there's like family events and things, and like, you know, calling, like there's all this stuff going on that I'm not connected with my family in the way that I would love to be. And I'm kind of trying to figure out, how can I marry the two? How can I, you know, be able to have both? Because I know, like, you know, there's like, oh, you can't have both. You got to be able to sacrifice. But yes, that's true. There is sacrifice, and there's sacrifices that I'm making and continuing to make and willing to make. But I feel like there's got to be a balance. There's got to be something that intersects, and that's what I'm trying to figure out, the balance between career happiness, family happiness, health, all of that just is on the same plane, instead of like, oh, I have all this success, I haven't seen my mother in years, I'm sick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. That's not success.
Is there any like a sentence or a slogan or something that, a phrase that keeps you going, that you either say to yourself or something somebody told you or have you?
A phrase that keeps me going.
Or something you say to yourself.
So, I'm an overthinker. Like, for real.
But you're an actress.
No.
You're not in your head.
Seriously. Like, it's one of those things where it's your gift and your curse, because I see that I'm an overthinker, but I'm an overthinker because I like to look at details and things, and I like to create, and I like to do all this stuff, and I like it to be perfect. And that's a problem, but at the same time, I'm very thoughtful. So I see that where there's the strength, but like for me, there's a cuss word in this. There's a cuss word in this phrase. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Go ahead.
Fuck it. Really, like it just like it frees me when I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, it's not. Well, it's I just go, fuck it. Let it go. Fuck it. Try it. Do it. Risk it. What's gonna happen? And that really gets me through. Like it really does. Like it helps me like get out of my head and come back into the room and just go, wait, what am I making this big deal with? It's not a big deal. Let it go. Try it. Risk it. Jump. So maybe, yeah, that's the PG version. Jump.
And now do you want to do the R-rated version?
The R-rated version? It's still fuck it. Sorry. It's gonna be like, boop. It's like, well, she was in the Purge. No.
Has that mindset kept you going? Like, you know, some people, you know, they out of college, and it's like sometimes you're disillusioned. Oh, I was on the main stage 3 years in a row, and it's hard out there. So many actors. Peter Dinklage, it's a famous story. 10 years, you know. Sure, kept going. Has that mindset, fuck it, you know, the ability to not give a fuck, how has that kept you going?
Yes, because I understand, like, it helps me keep focused on what I value. And it also helps me, like, realize that sometimes I might be putting more value into something that doesn't have it. So once I have that aligned, I'm able to push through whatever I'm going through. Whatever, like, if I'm like, oh, I don't understand this, or I don't get that, or I haven't been called back in months, and I didn't this. Fuck it. Keep going. Keep doing. Keep pushing. So what? Fuck it. You want this, right? Keep going. You got this, girl. You know what I mean? Like, I have to, like, just remind myself that I'm not, that certain things that are this huge problem isn't that big. Like, today's setbacks are not deadly. I studied in so many different places. Whoa. Because like I've taken classes at like City College. I took classes at Brooklyn College. I took classes. I did a 2-year conservatory at Maggie Flanagan Studios. I am currently studying with Anthony Abeson, and I love Anthony. I also had a private coach, April Yvette Thompson, who taught me tons. Right now, I'm at Kimball's studio, brushing up on my on-camera acting. So it's kind of funny. It's like I think this journey, you're always a student. You always have to be open because there's so many techniques and things to add on to your arsenal. Like I have friends right now that are taking like stunt classes, and I'm like, ooh, I'm about to get on that. In like a few months, I'm about to jump in and be that girl that's gonna beat you up in a movie. Or at least learn how to fall, or learn how to take a punch, or learn how to, they teach you all of these things in camera angles and camera technique. So I got a little sidetracked. What was the question? Because you're like, where did you learn? And I'm like, oh wait, all these places. I took classes and coaching, and that's over the span of like.
Did you study on camera
I
acting
did.
in school?
I did. I studied on camera acting in a few places. In a few places I studied on camera acting, but a lot of it, I guess a lot of what I've done already that you can find and see is like somewhat like natural, but then also taught. But since then, I've also like taken more technique classes, so it's helpful. It's really helpful to do on camera technique. It really does, because it's a different medium.
Can you elaborate on that? Because I wanted to say a quick anecdote. When I went to Binghamton University, after I graduated, they were kind of collaborating and putting the theater department and the cinema department together, so that people who wanted to become directors, producers, could actually work with actors. And so they shoot their friends and actors who were studying theater. Oh, what's it like on camera? So can you explain what it was like? Taking on-camera acting classes at first?
What I learned, so I'm very expressive. I'm very animated. I moved my hands at least 90 times during this interview. On camera acting, you don't do that.
It's more subtle.
So it's so much about subtlety because, like, well, one, you're like everything's magnified. The camera hangs off of your every word, your every gesture, your every blink, and it's. For on-camera work, that when you're working on subtlety, it's not about taking away the expression. It's about deepening it, and something like on stage, like if you said something stupid, it'd be like, but on camera, it'd be like, so you're saying the same thing, but you just gotta make it, like you have to like almost like boil it down, and like make it like, you have to make an espresso. You don't want an Americano, you want an espresso. You want to like boil down, like concentrate it, so that every movement means something more or less. More or less. Not every movement. You're gonna go start watching TV and be like, well, why did they do that? Why did they do that? Like, not literally, but you start to like pick up and go, oh wait, I get it. They do a lot of eye work, or they do a lot of this, and like where to look. Oh my goodness. When I started auditioning and doing on-camera acting, I didn't know where to look. Oh, not even that. I mean, like, if you're creating, I didn't know what midline was. I didn't know midline, so I would just be up here with my stuff, because I'm just expressive. Meanwhile, I had to be here, 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 here. This is where the room is. This is what everything is. If you're thinking, you should think over here. Move your eyes like that. Come back like that. Do like, you know what I mean? Like, they're very technical things, but because those very technical things need the support of your artistry. Because if you're just doing the movements empty, it looks like that on camera. It's like, why are you doubting your eyes all over the place trying to be dramatic? That's the thing. The camera hangs on your every word, your every, like, it loves you. So it's just like it wants to see your truth. And if you're just giving it BS, you're gonna see it.
What sort of tips do you have for actors that are in college, getting out of college, like the actors with, I wouldn't say less experience or inexperience, but more still, making the mistakes in the laboratory, trying things out, finding, what advice do you have for them in terms of career trajectory? Here's what I did starting out. Don't be afraid to make, what kind of advice do you have for like, young actors?
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to like have horrible audition stories. Like, don't be afraid of that. Everyone has them. Everyone has them. Everyone has like, those audition stories where it's like, oh my God, I was so quiet and it was. It's okay, and you can recover. Everyone has bad auditions. Audition as much as possible. Don't be scared of it anymore, because you're gonna do it all the time. Don't be like, oh well, one day I'm gonna get offers. Skirt. Learn how to audition and don't like hate it, because it's a part of the process. Like, yeah, you know, Marlon Brando, they say Marlon Brando was a good audition. Marlon Brando was Marlon Brando. I can't hang on what worked for Marlon Brando. I'm Brittany Mirabilé, and she got to know how to audition.
And I was talking to friends and their younger siblings, and they're like, oh, I have advice, you know, I want to get an agent, how long? It's like 2 years, blah, blah, blah. It's like, there's no formula.
Oh, there's no formula. Yeah, there's no formula. With business, like specifically, like trying to find reps and trying to think, before you go do all of that, right, try to go get an agent, the agent's you're gonna have a meeting. Ideally, right? Ideally, if you reach out to an agent, you're gonna hope they're gonna say, yeah, sure, come in, let's have a meeting. And they're gonna talk to you and try to see like what your knowledge is of what's filming in your city that you're in. Where do you fit? Like, where do you see yourself? They're gonna ask you little things like here and there to see if you're reading the trades. If you don't know what the trades are, know what the trades are. Read Variety, read not Backstage. I have like one pin. Like I just be looking through all of them, like phew, 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 phew. Oh, Casting About. Casting About is such a good resource because it tells you everything that's filming. It tells you all the episodics. It tells you who's shooting commercials. It tells you who's shooting film, and you can have it for either New York or LA or both. I do for New York, and I know who's shooting what, and I have a good sense of what's on. Well, if you want to do TV, this is if you want to do TV. If you want to do movies, you know who's casting the movies, know who's casting TV, the TV shows that you want to be in. That you don't sit there and say, oh, I want to do CW, and you're in New York. Are you gonna move to LA? That's a real question you have to ask yourself. Like some people are like, oh, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to be considered for it all. You cannot be considered for it all. They really want to know, hey, especially if you're starting out. They're like, hey, where are you a local hire for? Can I hire you locally for New York? Can I hire you locally for Atlanta? Can I hire you locally for LA? Not all three. And I also hear like sometimes people go, well, if you can say you're a local hire because your auntie lives in Atlanta, but you live in New York, so it might work out. A lot of the times in that kind of situation, they would do a local hire so they don't have to pay so much money to put you up, and like it's in a way to save costs. So if it's inconvenience for you financially to pick up and go to Atlanta for an under 5 role, don't do it. Maybe guest star, okay, maybe, all right, maybe, but then it's not that, I don't know. I feel like you gotta pick and choose and see.
Your sphere.
Because it's like all things can't be a possibility at first. You just gotta little by little by little by little. Like you can't say, oh, I'm gonna audition for commercials and film and TV and I'm gonna do it all at once. Like those are different casting directors. Those are different agents. So like, yeah, you can be considered for all, but it's like you have to have focus. Like sometimes I see a lot of young actors, I'm a young actor too, try to feel like if they pick something, it's limiting, as opposed to remembering that this is a marathon and not a race. So for this mile, you can focus on commercials. And then the next mile, as you pick up for commercials and you do all these things, then maybe you could start looking at episodic because, okay, now that I have some commercial experience, I am doing this. Or you could do it the other way around. It's just like you have to like pick, well, what's your goal for the next year and a half, the next 2 years, this and you know what I mean, to focus on. Just don't be afraid to focus because your path will always change because the life of an artist and the journey of an artist is ebb and flow. Feast, famine. That's what it is.
I have an addendum to that. I think that's a brilliant answer. And I want to say, my professor always said, don't be afraid of being typecast. That's good because you're getting work.
That too. So don't be afraid of your typecast.
So many different things. But
yeah.
Like, I don't want to be known for this thing. Be known for that for a while.
Exactly. You can be known for that for a year, and then you make a short film and you put it in film festivals, and all these people that know you for this go, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that. That's how you show. That's where you get your power back as a creative. Like, yeah, you get your foot in the door. You're known as this, but you should be creating with other creatives so that you control your narrative. You have more power than you think. Typecasting is good because it kind of gives you like a foot in the door. It's just a start. It's just a start. You don't have to marry your typecast. No one is telling you to get married and build a house there. Some people do and make amazing careers that last for decades. However, if you are an artist that you want to show your range, it's okay to like be known. Because like look at other artists. So there's other people who are like, oh, look at The Rock. Look at that journey. Okay, he went from being like he was like in the skeleton. Well, no, the Scorpion King, and he was just the big buff guy. You know what I mean? He was the big buff. Yeah, like doing something, and now he's an action star, like for real, like the main person should go in multiple actions, and he's doing comedy. He's funny. He's doing animation. He's doing kid movies. You know what I mean? Like he just breaks out. He's doing all these things, and at first, he was the wrestler that acts now. That's what he was at first. That was his typecast. Like, oh, you wrestle, right? Well, what can we put the wrestler in? You know what I mean? And you just go. You go with it, and you make it yours, and you change it. Flip the script. Exactly. Pun intended. Flip the script. Have my parents supported like my aspirations in being an actor and this whole thing. My mom was down from day one. Day one. And I think the interesting thing was like, because my mom, she wanted to be a dancer. Like she actually was had an opportunity to take classes at Alvin Ailey. Woo! Alvin Ailey. But this is like back in like the 70s. So it was just like, whoa. You could have been dancing with that company. And her family, my family, on my mom's side, wasn't that supportive. They weren't into it. They were like, oh, I didn't want to do that. That's not a real job. That's not a real thing. Like, you should do this. You should do that. And she listened. She was like, you know what? Maybe this is dumb. Maybe this is stretching far. Maybe I'm being ridiculous. And she didn't pursue it. And there's not a day that goes by that she doesn't think about it. And when I told her what my dream was, she was like, I don't want you to drop it. I don't want you to let it go. I don't want you to give it up because I gave up a dream. He's like, yeah, I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with my family. But not a day goes by where I don't think about being a dancer. What would have happened if I just gave myself a shot? What would have happened if I just did it? And we'll like watch like dance competition videos and I see her face light up and part of me is like, like, like I see it in her and I'm like, I can't. My dad was hoping I was gonna grow out of it, honestly. Yeah, like I think my dad was just kind of like, yeah, sure, it's cool. High school, you put on plays, it's cute. And then I kept at it, and he was kind of like, okay. But then like once I started to book things, and then especially after he saw The Purge, it was the funniest thing because I told him about it, but I don't think he understood that I was like in a movie that was showing worldwide by Universal Studios. And when we sat in the movie theater and he watched it, and I said more than just 2 lines. He was like, oh. And then my character comes back in another scene. He goes, wait, what? You got multiple scenes? And then he was like, wait, you're the villain? Wait. And then he started to piece together, like, okay, I'm on it. I see that you're serious. And I see that you have talent. I see that other people clearly are very supportive of your thing. And then, you know what? Don't grow out of it. Go for it. In fact, he helped me pay my union dues. Yeah. Because he was like all in. He's like, you know what? This is your thing. This is you. And I support it. It took him a while, but he supports it. Actors who don't have supportive parents. So here's the thing, right? Because not everybody supports me. Like I don't want to throw nobody under the bus on camera. But I have certain family members that I don't want to talk about my acting career to them. Because sometimes if you don't have supportive family members, a lot of the times they don't understand the business. And because they don't understand the business and only things that they've heard, they'll project their fears onto you. And it really will have nothing to do with them not believing in your talents, or like something that you feel really, or it's just really them being so afraid of your failure that they kind of want you to just stop before you fail. And then if you can look at it like that, where it's just like it comes from a place of love, it's like, okay, cool, it comes from a place of love, but at the same time, I distance. I don't talk about it. I don't talk about, like, for my family members I don't talk about it, or if I do, really short sentences, really boom, and change the subject, because it's like it gets under your skin a little, especially if it's someone that doesn't understand the industry, and you're trying to be like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and they're like, what'd that mean? That pay? It's gonna be on TV? It's gonna be in a movie theater? And it's gonna be like, skirt, I need you to not minimize and see this forward. You know what I mean? Like, you'll have family members that'll just poo-poo it before it takes off. And it's like, just don't talk to them about it. That's what I was saying. Like, you can still keep, of course, don't cut off your family members unless, like, they're toxic. That's another question. You know what I mean? That's another conversation. But as far as for that, I wouldn't talk about my acting stuff with them. You talk about other stuff. Don't talk about that. Or keep it short.
One sentence. Acting makes you feel what?
Acting makes me feel like, I'm, I don't know, what do I,
Take your time.
yeah, I gotta take my time.
There's no right answer here, man.
It's like, acting kind of makes me feel universal. Like, it makes me feel like I can talk to anyone about, like, the real stuff. Like whenever, especially if I'm working on something that, kind of like touches on a touchy subject, or just kind of like taps into something that we're a little uncomfortable with, or maybe something that you're uncomfortable with yourself. Like, maybe if I can, not necessarily catharsis, but more like show you your demons, show you our demons, because your demons are our demons. What do we deal with as society, as human beings? The stories that we keep telling over, and we keep telling Shakespeare over and over and over again. It's everywhere, over and over and over again. Same stories over and over and over again, because they're us. They're us. It's our thing. It's our human legacy. No matter how much technology and things that change, heartbreak is always there. We always have that. We always have self-doubt. We always have triumph. We always have fear. Like, there's all these things and these stories that we tell as artists and as actors that, like, it just makes me feel like I can connect and reach. It kind of makes me feel not big in a sense, not big, but more like universal, and I can, like, connect. If that, hopefully that translates.
The hustle it takes as an actress, the auditioning, the seeking,
The hustle?
the cost of the classes,
Copy.
the lessons, the training.
I got you.
Really good.
Bill. Okay. So, the hustle of being an actress. I don't think people, like, realize how much money, how much time, how much dedication, how much rejection. Like, we talk about the rejection, but there's rejection. Okay, like, there's, like, you can get, like, a 9-page script, right? And you got to be off book in, like, a day and a half, right? That of just, like, the not even memorizing the lines, okay? Because in 9 pages, do you know how many beats that, like, you have to break that down? And for more layman's terms, a beat will be like a moment in a script, maybe like every 8 or 9 lines or so. So here we go. Let's say this is the script, right? So we would say maybe like the first moment, the first beat would probably be like about here, maybe here, right? And then it will go down, and it'll go on for pages and pages and pages, right? So not only do you have to know your lines, you have to know what the other person's lines are and how you feel about them being said to you. You have to be very clear. And not only you have to be very clear, you got to be believable. You got to be truthful. So you got to, like, practice that. You have to say those lines so many times and do them so many times. And then, like, if it's an on-camera audition, oh my God. I set up my phone so that I can, like, frame it out. So you're like, okay, all right, choreograph. Okay, look there, do this, and it's just like there's so much, and that's just the smidge of what you got to do with the script. Then you got to figure out what you gonna wear, and that's a big thing, right? Big thing, what you're gonna wear, because you can't come in any old thing, but at the same time, you can't come in looking like you're gonna go to like the Met Gala. Like you gotta have like this look. Like it's hard to explain because I wasn't dressed in the look at first either. I was just like blue V-neck, jeans, okay, cool, here we are, I'm a student. It's like learning audition clothes and having audition clothes, and you have to go and affording audition clothes. All my audition clothes are like nice things, like nice, well-tailored, looks really great. Like it's like they want you to look like you booked the job already. They want you to look like you're a series regular already. Like your makeup, your hair. And a black girl with hair, what? Let me tell you, like the character choices, because it's like, maybe she's straight hair, is it an afro, is it braids? And then like some of my friends don't get all into that. I try not to get carried away because I'm an overthinker. But that is a choice. Like if there's something like in the script, if the character is like maybe like she's like a poet, and then maybe she's very political, I'd be like, you know what? Twists would definitely express that. And then maybe a shirt that does the, you know, like you have to like almost like get creative in that sense, expressing the character. Accessorizing, but not over accessorizing, because like you got to be aware on camera. How does it look on camera? Is it busy? What does that mean? I can't tell you how long it took me to figure out what does that mean. It looking busy on camera, too big for camera, too this for camera. I was like, what does that mean? I think they're being particular and making things up. They're not. Well, sometimes they are. But didn't even get there. How are you getting to the audition? On time. 15 minutes early. So if you're coming from like the 5 train line, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to hop on the Metro North. Maybe you want to hop on the Metro North and then get a cab. That's more money. Audition outfit, more money. If you don't have a printer at home, you got to print out your sides. You're not reading from a phone.
What about the headshot?
Oh, headshots. Okay, good headshots, like really good, like decent. No one's going to look and go, you need no headshots? I would say at least $1,000. Like somewhere in that line, like somewhere between the $700 to $1,000, because you need a good photographer. You need a photographer that understands what casting is looking for, because there's a quality. It's not a look, it's a quality, where the lighting, where it looks like is the background too busy? Is it this? Is it that? And like I see a lot of people that they're starting out. You know, you have your headshots. You're starting out. It's cool, but if you're going out for like TV, your headshot's got to come correct, because they'll just see right away, like before they even turn it around and see you have 2 credits. They'll be like,
That doesn't look like her.
no, not even just look like her. They'll be like, they'll look at this and go, did your friend shoot this for you? Like they'll know right away, because they see thousands of headshots every day. They know what it looks like. They're professionals. You need to like raise yourself there with your competition. You need to be there with your competition, not here, not, oh, you know, I got it for cheap. You got to be here with your competition. It's an investment. Your headshots aren't pretty pictures. It's an investment. So I understand, because I tried to do the cheap headshot thing, and then I got real headshots. But it makes a difference. It makes a difference. God, did we even get to it? We said audition clothes, headshots, resume. Resume, this is another thing. Sometimes you need to hire someone to get your resume together. Because there's a lot of disparaging things, like, oh, you have to do this, you have to add your height, you have to take your weight, you have to do this, Depends on your type, honestly. Like if maybe you're a muscular, like physical type, maybe you'll want to put that you're 6'5" and you're this, like maybe. But then if like your average build, I don't think you need to, but I don't know, that's just me. I don't have mine on my resume. But even then, I had to get somebody to format it the right way, the professional way, because casting is always looking at resumes. So they'll look at yours and be like, no, then they won't throw it, but they'll sniff you out right there. Be like, oh, so what else have you done? Because the thing is like, I feel like they're sometimes, unless the work is there, the work is like amazing, they're a little hesitant if you're too green. And by too green, like you're too new. You have more industry things to learn. And that's not a thing where it's just like poo-poo to you. I don't have time for you. You can't take that personally. You just got to see it as a business perspective. You have to see it as a business because it's a business. And that's what they mean. It's a business. So there might be some things you take to heart, like, well, I can only afford $400 headshots, and then my auntie did my resume. What's the problem? You can't take it to heart. They're not saying like, oh, there's like, it's not standard. It's not industry standard. And being industry standard when you're not making industry money is very expensive. Or if you're making industry money here, there, but you still gotta invest. You gotta invest it all. Almost. Not all, but you gotta invest a good chunk, or just, okay, gotta get new headshots. Okay, I gotta take classes with this person. Classes? Oh my God, this is the next part. Classes are not cheap. And usually if you find a cheap class, it's not good. In my experience, I've looked, like, I've audited to look around. I'll sit down and be like, what are they teaching in here? What's happening? Why you yelling at your students like that? Why does everyone in here feel like shit? Why is the teacher making their students feel like shit? This doesn't feel like I can learn here, I don't think, yeah. Oh no, I said another cuss word. It's okay? Okay. But yeah, like, classes will run you anywhere from me about, depending on the class, maybe about 150 to upwards. Like, I've seen an acting class, one person in particular, where it's a 2-day class, and he charges you $600 for a 2-day class. And you learn. I know people that have taken the class and they've elevated, but how long does it take them to earn that $600 that's spent in 2 days? It's a lot. It's thousands of dollars of investment over years. Like, you have to invest time. You can't be like, okay, I'm gonna be a professional actor in 3 years. You have to be more generous than that. You have to, your journey and your dream deserves more time. You can't put it, it's not a diet. It's not a fitness goal. It's a dream. Hair is an accessory. Oh my God, please don't take it personally. I know, because me as a black woman, I'd be like, why do you want me to wear a straight wig? Why can't I come in my afro? What you got, it's like you can't, it's not always that. Sometimes it's, well, you know what? If she comes from this background and she works here and she does that, it's very likely that she would straighten her hair, because sometimes, like, for a certain look, for a certain, like Scandal, for example, right? Carrie, she had her straight hair because she was working in Washington. But when she was on that island, she had her hair. And it was very clear, where it's just like sometimes we gotta code switch. So if you're playing a character that's in a situation where she's code switching, her hair would be different. Or maybe she has a different background and maybe she wouldn't wear her natural hair. Maybe that's, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's a look, sometimes it's an aesthetic also, like sometimes it's a character choice. Sometimes, like, it's not, oh, we don't like that kind of hair. You kidding me? If you look at commercials, there are so many black women with afros on commercials that it makes me happy. Like, I'm like, yes, sister, let's do it. But sometimes I think we misinterpret when we see, like, a black actress, or she really, like Viola Davis, we see her rock her natural hair and she's wearing a wig, and you're like, what happened, Viola? It's like, okay, sit down. She's playing a character. You need to, like, realize, because black actresses aren't the only ones that wear wigs. We're not. Newsflash, all of them do. Because when you're on set and they're sitting there with that flat iron trying to make you camera ready, camera perfect, they're using heat tools. They're not styling your hair overnight. They're not taking all the hours and hours to do your hair. They got to get your hair done like that because they got to do 8 other girls, because they got to do this, and then they got to do the star, and then they got to do that, and then, you know what I mean? And then there's union laws. They got to take a break, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not about that. Dial it back. It's not always that. It's not always that. And I'm speaking to someone that used to think it was that. It's not always that.
When is it worth it to be union?
So kind of didn't have a choice. You know what I mean? Because for me, I had so many actor friends that joining the union was a goal, and I reworked mine. I was like, well, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm gonna join the union anyway. So why don't I just do union-worthy work and just keep doing that and just keep at it and just keep doing my thing, and eventually SAG will catch up and be like, yo, you need to be SAG now. You know, eventually you're gonna book something. So I kind of discourage people from like trying to go right into SAG, because once you're SAG, you have SAG competition. Can you be there with your competition? With people that like have been putting in years? Like what do you have to support that? Because once you're SAG, you can only do SAG work, and there's a lot of non-SAG commercials right now. A lot. Like I'll be like, damn, Tylenol, Orange Juice, all of this, T-Mobile, what? How they do this? Non-union. They doing it. So if I was a non-union actor, honestly, I'd be jumping into commercials because they move quick. It's very naturalistic, the acting in it, because it's like you're talking to your friend most of the time in a commercial. You're talking to your best friend, or you're talking to your mom. They keep it really simple. That's what my thing would be. I wouldn't just do, I want to be union. I would jump and take advantage of the paid non-union work that's out there, because it's a lot.
Tips for forming your early acting reel for new actors.
Say yes to every opportunity you have to act. One, student films, make some friends. Also throw your hat in the ring for like, I think, is it SVA or one of those film schools? Like they always put a thing out when their semester starts and backstage, like, oh, we need actors, our film students are gonna be making things, submit, do that. Or go to the schools in person and be like, maybe talk to someone. Like it's when starting out, and the more connections and face-to-face interactions that you make, and like really trying to network, because that's what's really important. Getting into the network, getting into like knowing the actors that are doing like what you want to do in the city that you're in. Like for me, I was actually, I got kind of lucky. This is what I'm saying. I think I got lucky because an actor friend of mine who had lots more actor friends than I had at the time, invited me into like this like network like study group. And there's a lot of actors will kind of come together, especially when we take the same class or something. You kind of end up having a study group, but your study group is really like your clique of actors where, okay, let me teach you what I learned about dressing for an audition. And then this person will, let me teach you what I learned about doing taxes as an actor. Oh, let me teach you what I learned about the union. And we just kind of pool our information, and we'd meet together, we'd work on plays. And that's something that's very important, because like those are your peers. In some cases they're your competition, but your competition is your peers, and you need to have love. That you can't be like, oh, that's my competition, I got a raise, and no. That's like, they're showing you. Learn from that. Don't like feel like, oh, I'm not as, but learn from that. Learn from your peers and network with other actors, not just filmmakers, other actors. Because they understand your struggle. And I think that's, as an artist, having friends that understand that struggle, it helps get you through. It really does. It helped me. It helps me. Now, like, I'll be texting, I'm like, oh my God. Oh, okay, I'm not bugging. I'm just an actress. All right. It's like, yeah.
And the thing with the connotation and just the like stereotype of a struggling actor, you have a job, and yet you're acting. Can you talk to me about how that is a balancing act, and it is what it is, it's part of the hustle?
It is a part of the hustle. Like, so I'm gonna use this as an example for like the balancing act between acting and having a job. So Jeffrey Owens' situation was a little different because the Cosby thing, but Jeffrey Owens' situation isn't so different because there are actors that don't have the Cosby situation but have like that notoriety and that fame, or a Tony or something, or an Emmy, and they have a job on the side because you're not always working. And that's why I think a lot of, at least advice that I've gotten was just like, make your own stuff too and be into it, and so you can make your own work and you can continue, so you don't have to wait for someone to call you and cast you. So with that, it's just a part of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not like a shame. It's not like I have to work on the side. I'm not really an actor. It doesn't invalidate what you do. And it shouldn't. I mean, it doesn't meet the beautiful, perfumey daydream of what it is to be an actor. But it's the reality. A lot of us have multiple jobs. A lot of us do different things. Actually, I think when I was working in a restaurant, I was working in a different restaurant, not the one I'm working now, but I was working somewhere else. And someone recognized me, and she was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Working?" And she was like, "No, but like, I know what you do," and da-da-da. And I'm like, do you dance? Do you just, because I could tell from her, like, the way she was, she did something, we could smell each other, you know what I mean? So she was like, "Well, yeah." And I was like, "You have a side hustle too, right?" And she was like, "Well, yeah, but," and I'm like, "That don't stop." I mean, for some people it stops because their side hustle turns into their clothing line, or it turns into their makeup, or it turns into this. What do you think they do that for? It's a side hustle. They're entrepreneurship, because instead of it being here and all coming in from, like, just their artist work, they expand. You just got to do it. You just got to do it. Got to do it.
Well, do you want to do that, or do you want to say do it?
Do it. You got to do it.
Next question. Have you done any film productions or theater productions in the Bronx? If so, where?
Film productions. So, growing up in the Bronx and wanted to be a filmmaker, wanted to be an actress, I also had friends who wanted to do the same thing. So my friends went to the Ghetto Film School. Are you familiar with Ghetto Film School? And I think there was like a summer where I was like, because I was like one of the actors, like in her film. And we were like, we were like high school, we were like 15. We were like, we making a movie. And this is like before Instagram, before all that. We had these expensive ass cameras, these 15-year-olds running around the Bronx with all this expensive equipment making this movie. And it was so cool. And we laughed so much about those memories, because the film ended up being like a disaster. Continuity issues, lighting issues, mic issues. We had location issues last minute. We didn't know nothing about permits. So we were gonna shoot in a graveyard. We were gonna shoot in Woodlawn, right? Woodlawn Cemetery. We were gonna just go to Woodlawn with the cameras. Like, all right, we got this. My friend brought like her actual priest from her mother's church to play because it's supposed to be a funeral scene. We get there, and then the priest is talking too much. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna film," but he's like talking, making conversations to the guys that work at the Woodlawn Cemetery, and they were like, "Film? You can't film here." And the actors are arriving, everyone's arriving. It's a Saturday. We're so proud. We're 15 years old and figured out how to make a shoot and a schedule list and everything. We get there and we're like, "We can't shoot here. We can't shoot the funeral scene in the cemetery. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" We had to make it like a repass scene, thinking on our feet. As filmmakers, we were like, whatever, take it to the house. It's the repass. It's after the funeral. Same lines. Go. But it was cool shooting in the Bronx. I want to shoot more in the Bronx. Actually, I did another film in the Bronx. I did a film that should be coming out soon. It's an indie film. It's called Mr. And it's like it's an acronym. It's Mr. And it should be hopefully coming out in the fall. I'm gonna actually see it for the first time in the spring, and I'm really excited. We shot that in the Bronx, and also Mount Vernon, which was super cool. Like when I auditioned for that, oh man! Can I tell an audition story? So here's a really funny audition story. This is how like relentless you gotta be. So I did a self-tape. Professionally, it didn't look great because I shot it inside of my mom's car, because this is back in like 2015-ish. So self-taping wasn't as accessible, or you had to like pay somebody like $80 for a 5-minute video, and you're like, I don't have that. And it was an indie film, so I was like, maybe I can just do my own thing. And I remember I filmed it in my mom's car with the lights going on in the, because it's a scene that happens in a car. And I was filming it. My sister was my reader. My phone was on the dashboard. And like the lights kept going out because it's a car. So it's just like we have the lights on, there's all these things going on. But I was like relentless. Like I was like, no, I'm getting this audition tape in because I couldn't make the physical audition. Like that's how hungry you gotta be. Even if it's something that doesn't pay, like you have to wanna tell the story. You have to wanna show and do your thing. You have to want it. Because if you don't want it, it's not worth all of the time and the sacrifice you gotta put in. You gotta put in so much. Like, I'm like flowing on another story. I have another funny story. I met Jesse L. Martin years ago at the Apollo Theater, and it was like a New York and film kind of forum thing, and I was maybe about 18 at the time, and I was like foaming at the mouth. I was excited. I'm at an industry event. What? Like I was like ready, hungry now. But before I was like more eager like a puppy. And they opened up the floor for people to speak. And I ran up there. Like I ran up to that mic. I was like, phew! Like I booked it. Like I was like, I know what I'm gonna ask Jesse. Already, I know. And I was like, Jesse, from one actor to another, what's your like one like piece of advice that like you would give me as an aspiring actress? And then he told me the advice that James Earl Jones told him. And he did in James Earl Jones's voice. I don't have a good James Earl Jones.
You have to realize that it is more than just...
That's really good. Way better than mine. I'm just gonna do the face. It's just like, he's like, if there's anything else in this world that you'd rather do, or that you can do, or see yourself doing besides acting, do it. And I was like, at first I was like, what do I mean? Okay, thank you. And I sat down and I was like, and I thought about it, and then started experiencing things. I started being like, yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta want it. You gotta wanna be in this, because it's like, that the art has to feed you, not the notoriety or the money or the whatever cute perks happens or the limo rides. No, you have to really love what you're doing. You have to really love to act, because if you don't love to act, it's not worth it.
My professor used to say, if you don't want to be here, accounting is down the hall.
You don't want to be here, accounting's down the hall. That's a good one.
We're running out of time now. We're nearing the end. I think I just have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe one's zip code determines their future?
Yeah, 10466 got nothing but black girl magic. What you talking about? There's a lot of black girl magic in 10466. Excuse me. I flipped it. But yeah, like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, you're from where you're from, but you take that with you. You bring it, because they going to be cheering you on. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like, oh, if you're born in a bad neighborhood and you're going to stay in a bad neighborhood. No, that's BS. You got more power than you think you do. If you feel like yeah, okay, like I know in this country especially, like, certain things like set up in a certain way and it feels like it's totally against you and you're going against waves. I'll go against waves too. I'm going against the grain. I'm going against the waves. It's not easy. But I have people that I look up to, that I see them doing it, and it helps me do that extra push through. So you kind of got to flip it, as opposed to being like, you're trapped by it, that it's a part of you, and you're going to bring it up with you.
This last question. You mentioned some of your biggest inspirations. I guess, do you have any big inspirations in terms of female actresses?
Oh God, where do I even
Heroes, any films, particular films, anything?
Regina King. Regina King, Regina King, Regina King, Regina King. Let me tell Regina King. Like, of not only like writing and acting and putting things together. Like, this is gonna sound so funny. I was floored when I realized that she was Riley and Huey, okay? Because I'm a big, big, big Boondocks fan, okay? Huge Boondocks fan. And I sat there, I was like, she does voiceovers too? She's like, I look up to her. I really do. I really do. I'm always like, every award she ever wins, I'll be jumping up and down on my mom's couch, like, oh my God, like if I ever meet her, I'd probably just have to like hug her and be like, you don't understand, sister. I root for you. I root for you. I root for you. We're all rooting for you. A Tyra moment, but better. Not like, the way Tyra meant it. But yeah, she's really such an inspiration for me. One of my, but like for love Gina K. Love her.
What was it like getting the Purge and then seeing the Purge, afterward? And you mentioned your dad singing, but what was it like for you? Auditioning for it, getting it, and singing.
Oh gosh, the Purge. This is so funny. So when I got the audition, I was looking at the script, and then I was like, because they gave it to you, but they gave it to us in like a code name, so we didn't know what it was. You didn't know what you were auditioning for. But I was familiar with the franchise. So I was reading the script, I was like, is this the new Purge movie? Shut up. Okay. And I'm reading it, and I'm understanding what's going on, and I'm like, wow, this character, ooh, okay. I gotta really, she kills this? She goes to kill this man? Oh my God. Like, there's a lot of like things that I personally wouldn't do that I had to just break through. And then I started to have so much fun with the script. And I did a self-tape, but my first original self-tape was like, I filmed it off of my MacBook. And my sister was my reader, and I filmed it in my mom's dining room. And because it was like a brick wall, the lighting, like it worked out. It didn't look like we were in a dining room, but it was like enough. It was okay. And I sent it to my manager, and I felt nothing of it. I was like, okay, it's in the can. It's gone. Move on. Because that's what you do. You audition, move on. Don't sit there and be like, because it eats at you. I mean, it's easier said than done. When you get a call back, it's kind of harder. But with the Purge, I sent it, whoop, didn't think about it. And then she got back to me the next day and was like, can you retape it? They really liked it, but can you like go to someone professionally and have them tape it for you? And then I was like, they want me to retape it? They want to see more? Bet. Okay, sure, let's do this. So I go in and get it typed professionally. It was with this guy, and it was this random guy in Harlem that had like a brownstone. I was like, I never went back there again because I lost his info. I probably should go back sometimes because he had a great setup. But we're here, he had like the monitors, we're doing the scene, and like in this scene, like I felt like she was like so menacing, like Kimmy was so menacing that I needed to do something to like, cause she's taunting him. She's in it. So I was like, what if I just have a knife? Like maybe she has like this, like, and she's just like, just really like fucking with him. And it was so exciting for me to do that. And I was choosing things that excited me and like really like fed me as the character. And we did a few takes. I watched a few things. I picked out which take is gonna be what. Sent it to my manager. It's like, okay, we'll see. Maybe I get like, a call back or something. So I think 2 days passed. And I'm like, oh, all right, bye. I guess it wasn't that good. And then my manager calls me out the blue. I'm leaving the gym. I'm in Midtown Manhattan, walking around. I answer my phone. I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's up? And she's like, honey, you want to sit for this? And I was like, I got first refusal? Now, first refusal, right? First refusal is like when who they want says no, so they go with you. So I'm like, okay, maybe I got first refusal or I got a call back or something. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And she was like, honey, you booked it. And I was like, a what? And she's like, you booked it! You booked it! Oh my God! And she's like excited, and I'm like, and it's like coming down, I'm like, so I'm gonna be in a new Purge movie? Wait, what? And then I'm like, okay, all right, that's great. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna email you. Like, because it's like, I had to go out of town because we filmed it in Rhode Island. So I had to go out of town. So we had to do all this like travel stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I hung up the phone, and I'm walking to my restaurant job, and I'm like thinking about it, and it's dawning on me, and it like hit me, and I was like crying, and I was like, yes, fuck yeah! Like I was like so excited. I called my mom, I called my boyfriend, I called like 5 people. Got to work, was changing my clothes, like, you know, because I still had to go to work. Still had to go to work. Changing to my clothes in the locker room, and this girl like comes in, and she's like, "Hi, Brittany, what's going on?" I'm like, "I booked my first movie." Like, I'm so proud. Like, it was so funny. Like, it was like all of my coworkers were like, "Brittany's crying. Brittany, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm so happy." And we're like, "Oh, did your boyfriend propose?" And I was like, "No, I booked a movie." And that's a mess. A woman has to be happy and crying because, like, you know, she got it proposed to. I always thought that was a weird guess, especially because I was like hella young. But whatevs. That was it. That was the story of the day that I learned that I booked the Purge. I was just like cloud 9, but I still went to work. I think a lot of my friends were like, "Why'd you still go to work?" I was like, "Cause that's life."
What was it like acting worldwide?
Oh my gosh.
A film that would be distributed worldwide.
Man, it was so cool. Like working with James, like the director, was so cool because it's like he creates such a safe space for you to like be creative, and for you to like try things. Like when we were trying to figure out the mask, it was like a group. It was like James, and then it was, we got Liz, and she was doing costume, and it was like we were trying all of these different things, and we were just trying to feel it out, and it felt collaborative. It didn't feel like, okay, put this on, I don't like it. It was more like, how does that make you feel? How do you move around in it, play around? And it's just like, it felt like, I don't know, there was this kind of the feeling of like the whole shoot. It kind of like lets you do your thing and then collaborates. And then like, it was just like, it was really great. Like it felt, I didn't feel that pressure that I was like afraid of, like maybe like a bigger film set would be like, oh my God. It was like, it confirmed for me more than anything that this is what I'm supposed to do. Because it flowed. It flowed. It flowed. It was like a dream it was and still a dream come true, because it was like, I get to work on this character, and we're doing all this, and we're telling this story, and it was so insane because like they had a light like this in front of me, and they had like this huge camera. Like I forget the type of camera that it was. It was a huge camera in my face, maybe like this far away from me, right? Maybe like that far away from me. And then I have to like talk to a piece of tape that's that was like on the rim of the camera, because you know they do your sight lines for you, and talk to that piece of tape as if it's a person. And in post, like me thinking about it after, I was like, wow, I handled that really well. But in the moment of it, because of just how it was on set and how the creativity was always flowing, any challenges or anything new that popped up wasn't really in like, oh, it was like, okay, I got this. All right, let's do it. All right, let's play. Like, you know what I mean? Like the fuck it was there on set, and I was able to just like, whatever. So what? Okay, not worried about that. We're telling a story. We're doing this. We're playing right now. Don't have to worry about any of these other things that might be bothering me, or these things that I could be overthinking. Didn't matter. It's awesome.
Is there anything else that you want to say? The interview is over. Is there anything else you want to share? I always like to ask this at the very end, because sometimes people say the doper shit. Any last things you want to say?
Anything I want to share? I don't know. Now I'm gonna feel like I probably should have answered. I'm gonna think of the perfect answer when I'm like on the train on the way home. That's always how it is. I don't know. I said a lot. I feel like I should say them, but it's like I shared a lot. I should think of something. I don't know. Something like, what do people tend to talk about?
Anything in terms of, going out strong, whatever. Like I like to ask, being from the Bronx means what to you?
Being from the Bronx means, to me, it's like surprising people. That's what I think it is. because like people are like think they know the Bronx. They don't. They don't. They don't know you. They don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it's like resilience. It's that resilience. It's that surprise. It's that like, I feel like whenever you meet people from the Bronx, it's like we go hard or go home, you know? You go hard or you go home. My name is Brittany Mirabilé, and you're watching Bronx Vignettes.